Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
The Department for Transport has defended its decision to award a contract for nearly £14 million to a shipping company with no trading record as part of its preparations for a possible no-deal Brexit. Seaborne Freight has been contracted to provide ferry services carrying goods vehicles from Ramsgate to Ostend. A BBC investigation has established that the company has never run a ferry service and has no significant assets. Our business correspondent Joe Miller reports.
These are the large ferries that will carry thousands of lorries across the Channel to relieve congestion at Dover in the event of a no-deal Brexit as soon as March. But while two large international shipping firms have been awarded contracts to provide extra crossings at locations like Portsmouth and Plymouth, one British business has been handed millions of pounds by the Department of Transport on the promise of reviving this terminal with a regular route to Belgium. Ramsgate's commercial port has been dormant for the best part of 5 years. Currently, no large ferries depart from here, but the government has given almost £14 million to a firm called Seaborne Freight, which has never sailed a vessel and has no significant assets, to get a regular service up and running in just 3 months. As of a couple of months ago, the company's total share capital was no more than £66. And this is Seaborne Freight's website, which says it serves the needs of cross-channel freight traffic and claims that freight ferry services operate between Ramsgate and Ostend, even though there is as yet no such service in operation. One local councillor told me he believes Seaborne is in no position to provide any service.
As a Conservative, I feel that as a shell company, which is a company that exists just on paper, it is a complete waste of money, of £14 million taxpayers' money, to provide what will be an unsustainable service across the Channel here at Ramsgate.
The Department for Transport acknowledges that Seaborne Freight, which was set up by seasoned shipping industry figures, is just a start-up, but insists it was carefully vetted. And the company's chief executive is adamant that it will have ships to provide a service in time for Brexit Day on 29th of March. But when we asked them to name the vessels it would use on the route, the company declined to do so. A campaigner who opposes the use of Ramsgate as a commercial port had a simple question in response.
If you have ships, you can name them, but everybody in the industry does not believe Seaborne Freight has any access to ships at the moment.
The government hopes it won't have to resort to contingency plans. It prefers a negotiated exit from the EU. But regardless of whether Seaborne services are ever needed, it could keep some taxpayers' money. Another example, say critics, of a failure to plan properly for a no-deal Brexit.
Well, Joe's in Ramsgate for us now. Joe, what more do we know about how and why a company with no trading record was given a contract worth millions by the government?
Well, Tina, we know that for some time now, the government has believed that in the event of a no-deal Brexit, it would need additional capacity at ports other than Dover to relieve traffic down to the coast and to get vital supplies through. But only in the last few weeks has it started awarding contracts to shipping firms to get that capacity. Two international firms with existing fleets got big contracts, and one small British firm without any existing vessels. Now, it's fair to say that Chris Grayling's Department of Transport probably didn't want us to know about these contracts. They were sneaked out onto a government portal on Christmas Eve, and we only found out about them because a data firm alerted us. And it's also worth noting that if the government hadn't given a contract to this small British firm worth £14 million, the other contracts would have gone to French and Danish firms, and we would be in a position where it was two EU firms who were benefiting from a no-deal Brexit.
Joe, thank you. Joe Miller in Ramsgate.